Sweet friends, how do you do today? And how do you woo today? And how do you woo you today? Welcome to How to Woo, a podcast on love and making love so we can make sure we're making lives we love. I am your host, Luna Robbie. I am a multi-artist and creative guide obsessed with learning about life, especially from other humans direct, because we all have our own unique perspective and wisdom. So here we are again for some deep listening and a little vicrophilia so we can stay excited about life and co-create a world where taking care of each other is the norm. Let's dive in. Our guest today is a 30-year-old American-born Chinese female, and I might add goddess, who is pansexual, ethically non-monogamous, and enjoys connections with both long-term lovers and comet connections, new and old, who streak through her life. She is into authentic connection, sapiosexuality, auralism, sensory play, exchanging information, especially with fellow sex nerds and badass goddesses, exploring threesomes, including but not limited to MFM and FFM configurations, and dicks. Also a lover of learning, she loves to study behavioral economics and is getting a degree in ancient studies with a focus on Greek material culture. She also works as a legal courtesan at my favorite of all the brothels, Sherry's Ranch, which she travels to from the East Coast. Welcome, Jessica G.
Thank you so much, Luna. I'm really excited to be here to chat with you.
I am so excited to have you here to chat with me. Before we get to all of your naughty, sexy details, I would like our lovely community to get to know you as a human the way that I have. So start out by telling us, in general, what makes you go woo? What are you excited about? What do you love? How do you have fun? What brings you big, huge joy? And not dicks yet. We're going to get to that later.
We'll get to dicks. We always get to dicks.
We always get to dicks.
You touched on a lot of my special interests. I love learning and connection. That's what gets me excited about everything. A lot of emotional investment in things. But in terms of hobbies and what I do for fun, I'm a huge nerd. I really enjoy tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, no longer White Wolf, it's Onyx Path Publishing, but World of Darkness. I also really enjoy anime and manga. I am a huge foodie. I cook because I like to eat. And I craft a little bit here and there, some crocheting, some jewelry making, plus I sing in the shower when nobody's around.
Only when nobody's around?
Unless I'm dragged up for karaoke.
I was gonna say, I think I have a new goal of hearing you sing in the shower. Is that a creepy goal?
The acoustics are better.
The acoustics are great. It's your own private concert hall. Can we go 2 clicks back? And I would love to hear specifics of what you love to cook and what you love to eat.
I grew up in a Chinese American household, and so we always had kind of like a smorgasbord of food, but I really love Asian food, particularly things that I ate growing up. I'm still working on my culinary skills. I have to say, my sister is far superior, and I would much rather eat my sister's food. But
Same. My sister's a chef. Also, I do think that eating other people's food in general is extra delicious. Unless they get mad about it, I won't do that. But if they're sharers,
Yes.
I feel so loved if someone shares food with me. And I love to share food too.
There's a thing that my family says, food is care.
Mm.
So if you're cooking for somebody or you're sharing a meal together, it's showing that you care about what is nourishing them. Plus there's the whole connection aspect that when you are taking time with someone and talking and enjoying an activity together, whether that's the cooking or the eating or the conversation, it's all kind of this big warm package. It's like a hug.
Yeah.
But to get back to your question, I really like cooking Chinese dishes that I had growing up. So steamed fish or chasio or pan-fried noodles. Lots of things I want to learn how to make, but something my sister taught me recently was hand-pulled noodles,
Oh,
which
yes.
at some point when we are on tour together, I will have to make for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I want to make them with you. There's a place in
Yes.
Vegas called Magic Noodle, which I love the name of, and I love just like watching them stretch them out. And they have, and then there's like a kind where they like scrape them off. And so,
Hmm.
I love noodles. I love noodles. I love
Me too.
noodling. I love all forms of noodle.
All the noodle.
Okay. Okay, all the noodle. And I do agree with you. The connection is nourishment, but it's nourishment on all levels, right? Like that connection
Yes.
thing. It's so much. Okay. So, continuing this theme, I would love to hear a little bit about self-love. It sounds like cooking is part of that. It sounds like maybe engaging
Mhm.
in things you love is part of that. But how do you woo you?
I am still figuring it out, but I think that's a good thing. So it's a continuous process. For me, journaling is part of it,
Mhm.
being reflective. Also, I'm working on self-compassion and warmth. So treating myself like I would one of my very, very dear friends. It's hard to do sometimes, isn't it?
Mm,
But I think taking time for myself and sitting with thoughts, meditating, listening to music, that's all part of my package.
yeah. Do you have
Yeah.
any like sensual go-tos? Like for me, for example, put me in a hot tub or a bath or a spa, and I'm like, ah.
It's not exactly, I guess it is sensual. It's sensual, not sexual. I love getting massages.
Yeah.
It's just, I turn into putty.
Yeah.
I also get acupuncture,
Mm.
which can be very relaxing, but can also be very like stimulating.
Yeah.
I at some point want to go to a head spa. I don't know if you've seen these trends, but a lot of them are, Asian owned and based in like traditional homeopathic medicine where your hair gets like this lovely bath, and you get like a scalp massage and a neck massage, and there's just aromatherapy. So it's just a pleasant all around thing that I really want to try.
Oh, yeah. As I'm hearing you talk to, I'm like, oh, but it's a gateway drug because if I want that, then I'm gonna want more. Like, which I am. It's not a sexual experience, but I'm like, well, then I might as well go to a K spa and get that in my scrub, and then go to the massage part. I don't know. It's all
Yes,
good,
yes.
and I love what you said too about it being an ever evolving process, right? Like maybe the better way to ask this question is, how do you woo you today, or right now, or what's unfolding? And I think you
Yes.
illustrated that beautifully because I noticed that for me too it changes constantly, right? Like this is not a
Mhm.
set answer. Or if I take a bath too many nights in a row, which I don't because I conserve water, and so I leave it as a treat for myself so that it does have kind of that heightened specialness, or if
Yes.
I travel for weeks at a time, so then when I come home, I'm like my bathtub. Um, and I love it.
So
Sounds
good.
like you are just carving out that time and bringing consciousness to it. So I would like to know now, how do you like to be wooed? Tell us some of the ways that you like to receive love, affection, and care.
So the biggest things for me are time and attention. I love quality time. I love physical touch, but if you are choosing to spend your time with me, then I feel so valued
Mm,
and appreciated, and I really like having shared experiences. And sometimes those shared experiences are just sitting on the couch, naked together, cuddled up. Like it's, yeah,
I love that.
fun and intimate, but I'm a pretty simple gal. I just
Mm,
like knowing that you want to be with me.
I
That's
love
what I
that.
enjoy.
I love that you gave a definition of quality for you because it's different. Like when I first was like, quality time, well, what does that mean? Words of
Right.
affirmation, I don't want words of, I want For me, quality time includes words of information, is kind of what I've realized.
Yes.
Like I love to connect, I love to noodle. And also, ooh, I just got a warm and fuzzy feeling into now you are spending your time here with me. Does it go both directions? I know for some people, gift giving and
Yes.
receiving. Okay, now I feel extra special.
Yay.
Ooh, that's nice. And I love, for me too, quality time is not sitting around with people I love where we're all on our phones. Like that for me does not count. I know
Right.
some people that is enough for them. And I love that they know that about themselves and that they can ask for it explicitly, hopefully. For me, like you said, I would rather be naked, get that oxytocin flowing, have cuddlies,
Mhm.
and I also have run into issues with friends and lovers, well, specifically a friend who was a lover in the past, where we had a disagreement about like what chillin' together, and I'm saying that with air quotes, means. He was like, could you just stop talking? And I was like, well, I
But
yes, I can. And now I'm sad. Like,
oh,
so, and that's not to say that it always has to be talking all the time, but just feeling like there is space for me to be myself and finding that vibe and that in syncness, I think
yes.
is huge, Are there other ways that you like to be wooed, like, or things in the past that as you reflect just like really made you melt?
I mean, we'll get to some of the spicier stuff
Okay,
later,
okay,
right?
okay.
But one of the things that makes me melt is I'm into oralism. It's something that I've found a word for very recently, but I really enjoy hearing someone else's voice, particularly if it's very gentle and quiet and close to my ear.
Mm,
Um, like feeling the breath and having it kind of wash over me, that makes me feel like we're in sync.
I love When do you feel the most connected to other humans? You've already given some good examples, but what textural quality makes you actually have the experience of I am connected?
So, the exchange of information where there's often, not always, often eye contact, engaged body language. I can feel myself leaning into you uh, through the screen. So I really love learning, and sometimes that learning is like a topic or about a specific item or a collection, but most often I find it's learning about someone else and myself.
I want to share something with you. I don't know if I've shared this with you already,
Oh,
and maybe it'll make you feel connected. It makes me feel connected because it is a piece of information I'm about to exchange with you. My awareness of the fact that I connect through information exchange in my brain is linked with you. And I don't know if it's because I discovered it through telling you that, or if it was like the week we met is when I discovered it. I think those discoveries came hand in hand. Like it might have even been, I remember the first moment we met and I was like, tell me if I talk too much because I like to connect through exchange of information. And I think since then it's a thing that I've been saying because I'm like, whoa, that's really true. And then your reflection of like, no, yes, me too. Let's do it. I was like, I
yep.
read it in a book a few years ago and I was like, yeah, I think that, but it just like locked in. So I actually associate information exchange in the name of connection with you.
In my head, I just went, woohoo! And my body just went. um, yes, I associate information exchange with you. Like that phrase and recognizing that that's a part of myself. Like I've always just kind of put it as I love learning,
Yeah.
but it's sharing information together
Yeah.
that I find really exciting. Because don't get me wrong, I love reading. I like videos and podcasts, of course. Um, but having something in real time with another human being is what gets me going.
That makes sense. I mean, it's connection based learning. And it's like if we are connection fiends, which I think you and I both are, it
Mhm.
makes total sense. Okay. Wow. Any other connection things? I mean, we'll get to the touches parts. I know that's a thing for both of us, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
any other like broad strokes? Not sexual
Uh,
strokes, but I mean, yes, but not yet.
yes and no. I talk through TV shows and movies and all sorts of things. I don't like going to the movie theater. I much prefer being at home because one of my partners will just pause whatever we're watching and we get to sit and like talk it through. There's this show called Married at First Sight.
I haven't watched reality TV in almost a decade because I briefly was producing and directing online reality television with pickup artists. And so
What?
seeing how the sausage is made and also like understanding the behind the scenes things, and it's like honestly I think a lot of it is pretty fucking unethical, and then they're not making it, they're making it to trigger amygdalas and to like poker
Yeah.
people. And so then my little ethical heart is like, oh no, oh, it's not teaching the world to be a sexier, more loving place, it's creating a shit show for spectacle, oh god. But now I'm like, ooh, but watching it, and then the next time I tried to watch reality TV was Love on the Spectrum, because people were like, you would love it, you will see yourself. And I was like, this is fucking atrocious and rude. like give them help people, don't just, okay. I mean, that's just I know a lot of people really, really like it. Like so many people who I love and care for genuinely thought that I would have a good time, but whatever. I have clearly my own little baggage around reality TV. But now I'm like, we should watch something together and just pause and record about the noodles that come out of it. Anyway, future projects. I want to do that with movies. I want to do that with TV because I'm trying to understand what other people are seeing. And I get a lot of reflections that are like, well, you're thinking too hard. And I'm like, well, I'm just noodling
That's what I
along,
do.
trying to understand people here.
Yes,
Okay, so I'm
absolutely.
hearing that being able to talk through things, and it sounds like if I'm understanding, processing maybe the connections or relationships that you're seeing on screen is a part of that desire there.
Yes, 100%. I'm also a Big Brother watcher. I won't go so far as to say I'm a super fan because I can't quote all of the statistics, but the thing that I find most fascinating is the interpersonal dynamics. So there's a lot of fodder for thought in reality TV, I think. And I obviously don't have your background in it.
Right.
And I'm something I want to probe more into
I mean, the,
in
the
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 future.
casting and the producing process, like they are really alchemizing arcs that go up and down. And I'm so sorry to pop everyone's bubble, but it's not all natural.
Oh, yes.
Well,
It's not actually reality. What?
I will say I am a big fan. Not that it's neutral. There's no such thing, right? Any co-creation has lenses because just like the nature of our existence in the world, we're all projecting, giving and receiving information. But that's why I really love documentary style stuff, and it's not that it's not a narrative shaped. Like we're shaping your narrative here together today with our curiosity and your sharing and my questions, but like I'm like, let's just try to represent them as they see themselves. Again, being a
Hmm.
human is so imperfect. There's no such thing as communicating, quote unquote, clearly, but there's best efforts. And that's why I think dialogue is such a wonderful tool. Okay, so now tell us, what does it take for you to want to take a connection that you feel with someone and make it intimate?
This is going to sound very simple, but I think the realization of it is a lot more complicated. I want to feel desired,
Mm, mm,
not necessarily objectified, which, like, has its own place, but really seen.
yeah.
That makes me feel good and excited and ready to get intimate.
Oh, I love that. I'm like, see all of me. Let me know. Like, signal to me that you see me. Then you can objectify me. Like, let me
Yes,
know that you know and perceive me as an entire being so that I can be your nasty little fuck toy.
I feel like I need a really good reason to connect intimately, that I want to feel valued. And that's an important part of building up to what we can have together.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, Good vibes and show me that you care. Show me.
Yep.
Show me how much. Woo me. Give me an irresistible
Woo
invitation, as I
me.
like to say. Yeah. Woo me so
Exactly.
I can go woo. Okay, so in that vein, tell us a little bit about your health and safety practices. You are an ethically non monogamous person. You are also a professional. So, what are your standards like here? And are you usually the leader of these conversations? Does it turn you on if someone else leads them? Like, just tell us a little bit about your health and safety needs.
Absolutely. So I think this is a really, really important topic, both for me personally as someone who's ethically non-monogamous and as a professional, but also like for people in the wide world. I get tested outside of the brothel for my own peace of mind. I also use protection that can be in the form of male condoms, female condoms, dental dams, or my preference is Laurels, things like that for a physical barrier from STIs. I also use birth control as an extra safety measure for both me and my partners. We have an agreement not to get me pregnant. And that's something that I want for myself and that they want for themselves. In terms of time at the brothel, I, along with the other legal courtesans there, get tested every week. So if you see us at the ranch, we are clear and ready to go.
And then, what about in terms of at the ranch when you see clients? Like, what sort of considerations do you have there?
It's very important that we keep our fluids separate so we can have lots of fun and also comply with state and federal regulations. It also makes kissing, which I thoroughly enjoy, extra, extra special.
Okay, so I'm hearing barriers, I'm hearing avoiding fluid exchange if you are at work, I'm hearing regular testing both in and out of work. What
Mhm.
about the actual conversations that you have with your partners, whether it's for work or play, or do you feel a big distinction between work and play when it comes to those conversations? Like, what do you need to discuss with someone in order to feel comfy to get intimate?
What exactly I discuss with each partner, work and play, kind of depends on the relationship that we've built up, or I guess more succinctly, it depends on what kind of kinks we're exploring together.
Okay.
But in general, I make sure that we have some kind of safe word, or we use a red, yellow, green system so that we can, in the moment, communicate with each other easily and smoothly what we're enjoying and uh, what we might be willing to explore further, but maybe at a later point.
I love that. So, for anyone listening who maybe hasn't used a red, yellow, green system, well, first I want to clarify, do you do that also in vanilla relationships? Because I've pretty much.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell us what your red is, tell us what your yellow is, tell us what green means.
It kind of depends on the person.
So, you define this with each partner. That seems
Yeah,
confusing and hard. So, you just like know person to person?
I do my best.
Okay.
And that's also why I think the system is so helpful because if I think that maybe my partner is into one thing and they say, oh, yellow, then I know that I should pull back and slow it down a little bit. Or if they say red, I can full stop and check in with them, make sure that they're okay
I see. So
emotionally and
the general outlines are exactly like a traffic light, but the specifics of
yes,
what each go, slow down, stop means is different. So
yes,
it is
yep,
the same in that we are all the same as human beings, but it is different
yes,
in that we all have our own different details. Okay, okay. That makes more
exactly.
sense. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I use a red, yellow, green to do things in real time. I make sure that my partners know what that means. That if I say yellow, I need a little bit more lead up, or maybe even some conversation to make sure that what I'm looking for and what they're looking for are matching. But if it's green, that is a, oh yes, do that more, please now.
Green, green,
Green.
green.
I won't say I haven't used green that way before.
I love it. I love it. The phrase screaming green suddenly has a new connotation. Not that it was ever a phrase before, but I'm like, we're making it a phrase.
Now. Now
Now,
it is.
let's scream green. Formerly associated with envy, now it's associated with good, great loving. Okay, do you have any other thoughts on love or reflections on relationship or wisdom on woo or anything else about health and safety?
Oh, wisdom is heavy.
Okay, what about woosdom? Wisdom is heavy. We were just some woosdom.
Okay, my wisdom. I love communication in all its forms, whether it's verbal, nonverbal, sexual, platonic. So I think personally, I think the best way to connect is by communicating. Just go, go, go.
Yeah. I know everyone has their different ways, but I sure love words. Then again, once I get to the body parts, like one literal body parts, then it's smooth, but I need to have enough words to get to the body parts, personally.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. If you had to rate yourself on a sexual shameometer, with 10 being so full of shame and 0 being like, I don't have any shame, where do you fall today, right now, in this moment? And when, if ever, does your shame coaster get squiggly? Or when has it gotten squiggly over the years? Like, tell us about your
Yeah.
relationship to shame, specifically sexually speaking.
Specifically sexually. Okay, so in general, my shimometer is about a 0. It does spike from like a 2 to a 5 if I'm not sure that the person that I'm speaking with is comfortable. So like I guess it's less of a it's less of a shame and more of a like I'm uncomfortable because I really, really don't want to make somebody else uncomfortable.
So relatable. Yeah.
In general, like if I feel comfy with the other person and that they won't be upset with talking about sex or having sex, hard 0.
Yeah.
Negative.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a pretty conservative household
Okay.
and we did not talk about sex
Okay.
like at all. But I think I've been a very sexual being from a very young age.
Yeah.
So even though we didn't talk about it in my family, the internet is a wonderful thing. And so that's where I did my learning.
Okay, so take us through your personal sex education, starting with when you first remember hearing about sex. It sounds like you did not get a sex talk.
No.
Okay.
My first exposure to sex was, surprise, surprise, in a book. I was reading Tamora Pierce's Song of the Lioness Quartet, one of my favorite series still, and there was a sex scene in it, and I was pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah,
How young do you think, if you had to guess?
I was just over 10.
Okay.
But that's also like when sex ed starts going in public education in the area that I grew up. And then more explicit and detailed sex was in Harry Potter fanfiction.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you're 5 years younger than me. I was the same age as Harry, like growing up. Like when the first book came out, we were the same age. Me and Harry, you know.
You and
So
Harry.
you were, so you already had books out. When do you remember when you started reading Harry Potter and when you started reading the fan fiction that was sexy?
So I started reading Harry Potter in 5th grade, I had seen movies
Yeah.
before because I have older siblings,
Okay.
but I started reading the Harry Potter series in 5th grade when I was really sick with the flu, and there was a giant book sitting next to me. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll fill my time. Read it in a day. It was the 5th book, out of order, as usual.
Oh, wow.
Uh, and I want to say when I could roll off the couch and was no longer sick with the flu is when I started looking for Harry Potter erotica.
Wait, so you had already learned from the other book that erotica was a thing, but when did you learn to use the internet to look for it?
Probably that year.
Okay.
So I was in 5th grade.
Wow. Okay, so you knew to look for it. You were having sex ed in school, or did that, it's approximately ish?
Your biological sex was 4th grade. 5th grade was this is the other biological sex. And then 6th grade was kind of like this is how sex happens, which was not terribly informative.
Okay, yeah, I'm like, wow, I did not get that. We only had reproductive. It is so wild to me too that they split up girls and boys, perceived girls and boys for these lessons
Hmm.
when they didn't have anything arousing or erotic in them. I'm like, it's not even like you're
Right,
teaching us the good stuff. Like, I thought I
right.
was gonna get some real like feminine wisdom here. No, you want to show me a weird video. Okay. Did you learn anything? Were you aroused yourself? Like, when did you start exploring your own body? Was it pre-fan fiction? Like, at what point did you get physically intimately curious?
I would say first sex scene in Tamora Pierce's book.
Okay.
That was like, well, I have parts. I can do things with parts. And there was definitely some like exploration of my own body.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. But I didn't start like doing anything with anyone until I want to say summer after 6th grade was my first kiss. Just a kiss. Summer after 8th grade was a makeout. And then another one, my family and I had went to Italy, and I think my sibling was in the bathroom at a church. I can still see those church steps. And there was this really cute Italian boy, and we like were hardcore making out on the steps of a church.
Wait. Was other family nearby, or just your sibling was in the bathroom? Parents were nowhere to be
My
found.
sibling was in the bathroom, and my parents were at a museum. So my
Okay.
sister is several years older than I am. So we were allowed to roam by ourselves a little bit, not for a whole day, but like several hours at a time. Then roam I did.
Okay. Wow. How did that come up? Were you just like making eyes and then you were making out?
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when did you
Um,
start getting into like sexy partnered play? What was that unfolding? What were those learnings like for you? And did you have friends that talked about it? Or were you mostly just learning from books and or internet? Or did you get a sister lesson?
no,
Okay.
no, we didn't talk about sex.
Ugh, I gave my sister the whole download of everything I knew once I had information. Like at first I was like, sorry, babe, I don't have data yet. And then as soon as I got to I'm like, okay, let me tell you.
Yeah, my sister had a boyfriend in high school, and like I vaguely knew that they did stuff. The advice that they gave me later when I was in high school was if you have sex, pee after. And I was like, okay, but it's important advice and not something that like comes up during sex ed.
Not necessarily. Yeah. I mean, I even read in the Vagina Bible, I think she was like, no, it's not that important. I know it's very important for some people. For me, I can definitely not pee and it doesn't matter. But I know that for some
Oh,
people, if they
really?
don't pee, they will get a UTI like that. So, yeah. Okay.
It's me.
Yeah. Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, these are important things to know. Yeah.
I was really sick in high school, like an ongoing condition. So when I went out. I went all out. And so I got sick freshman year of high school, and I met some friends who were not my like friends at the high school that I went to or my local high school, and I lied to my parents, oops, and said I was gonna stay over at a cousin's house, and then went partying with these people. And I think my first high school party, I got like pretty drunk, but my first high school party, I blew like 10 guys.
Wow, what? Wait, was that the first time that you like had fooled
Yeah,
around with? Whoa, wait. So had you watched porn? How did you even know what blowjobs
no,
were? Like, did they just were they just like put it in your mouth and like I'll try that? Because that was kind of how my first blowjob was. I mean, we instant messaged about it first, and then I was like, I would put a penis in my mouth. Sure, I'll try it. Like, I'm curious. And it was only years later that
yeah.
I was like, oh, it's oral sex. That's oral sex. I did it. You know, I thought I was just doing blowjobs.
Oh my God, you're so
Wait,
cute.
wait. So, okay, sorry, we've totally got 10. I want to have 10 at once. Were they lined up or was it like one after the other? Was it like, what was it
No, it's like,
like?
okay. So it was like a big, raucous high school party in some very wealthy person's house.
Wow. I never got to go to one of those.
That was not my family. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. No. These
It
were your
was,
not good girlfriends, not your school friends. These were
yes,
people that you snuck out with, friends.
yes, exactly. So yeah, it was like drinking and like dancing, dirty dancing, grinding, all the things. And then somebody would catch my eye, like make eye contact, glance towards a staircase. We'd go up to a bedroom and I'd blow him. Not safe sex practices.
Early on, I didn't either. No, also, it took me like a decade to figure out to use condoms for oral sex with randos. You know, like I didn't even know that was
Right,
like a thing. So,
right.
which now I fucking love blowjobs with condoms because also it makes blowjobs without condoms extra special, you know, like all of it.
Yes,
And then I get to feel like
yes.
safer, sluttier. Okay, so wait, so were you swallowing? Like, did you know what to
Yeah.
do? Were you feeling very confident? Like, what was the vibe of it for you?
So, are we at the dicks, dicks, dicks part?
This is Dick's. Yes, you just told me about 10 blowjobs. We are Dick's. We're Dick's times 3 plus 1.
I love that you made it math. Oh my God. Okay. So I love penises. I love all shapes and sizes and colors. Um, oh,
Yeah,
a little red tip. It's
yeah.
hot. Curves and all the
I like
things.
I like the gradient when like this part is light colored, that part's a darker color. Like I love
Uh-huh.
I mean, I
Uh-huh.
love all I love when it starts out pale and small and then gets red and big. I mean, just all of it. All
Yes.
formations. All healthy dicks are yummy. I don't know.
Yes. So I had done like a fair bit of fan fiction reading at that at that
Oh
point.
my God.
Um,
How did I not discover fan fiction? God bless it. Okay.
it can be a little raunchy, which is fine. So I had done a bit of reading, fan fiction reading, and felt like I had a pretty good
I want you to
sense
say
of
grasp so bad. Good grasp.
a pretty
Sorry.
good grasp um,
Pretty good hold, a
of
pretty good handle on it. I got a taste for what
of
to do. Okay, sorry, I'll let you talk.
oh my God. Yes. Yes, 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 and yes. But I felt like I had a pretty good idea of what the basics were, and I was tired of it just being book learning.
You reached your limit.
I did. Oh my God. I was such a horny teenager.
Yeah.
I'm such a horny adult.
Wait, so did you set out to like try to get 10 or was it just let me see what I want to do? Like, do you remember how you were feeling about it at the time?
Yeah, so I was not inhibited. I was out of the house. I was feeling good that night. So it was just like, whatever I want to do, I'm going to do. And if I found somebody attractive and he wanted me to blow him, I was going to do it. Yeah. So, no, I didn't set out to perform oral sex on 10 guys, but that's what ended up
You
happening.
just let the spirit take you.
Yes.
I love that. But I love that you also were keeping track. I mean, not that counting in numbers is the top pinnacle of anything, right? You know, people try to
Right.
base goodness of sex on quantity, like we had sex twice a week, but it's like, well, what is the quality of that? However,
Right.
as a data gatherer and as someone that just loves numbers and loves to kind of keep track of my lovers, I love, you know, I can usually remember back to who they are. I mean, now I take copious journal notes and have my private pleasure journal that I read and yes, masturbate to. Okay. You know, but I
Yes.
love that you were paying attention. I love that. Were they all in the same bedroom or were they like different locations?
It was different bedrooms, whatever was free
Mm.
and close.
Was it all private or were there sometimes other people doing things nearby?
Okay, so that was that time was private.
Okay.
The parties, incidentally, were the private experiences.
Okay.
Also, I only went down on them. They did not get to go down on me.
Okay.
Later, so after I had developed a stronger rapport with, there were like 3 guys that I was good friends with, shall we say, and had been experimenting with a bit, all oral and for me, digital penetration, but also like kink stuff.
How old were you now? And this is not a party environment or where are we fast forwarding
Oh,
to?
yeah, sorry. Let me set the scene, right? So not a party environment. Like it was usually at one of their houses when parents were away, and I was 15 and 16. So like in there. So in terms of kink stuff, we did breath play, bondage, and so dangerous, but we were careful. Blood play? Yeah, lots of YouTube videos on sterilization.
Okay. Wait, so these were some of your first experiences? I didn't
Oh,
mean to
yeah.
giggle in that. Wow. Is
No,
this the
yeah.
result of fan fiction, or where did these desires enter your head, or was it because of these partners?
I think I just had like a lot of dark things that I was and to some extent am into.
Hmm.
Blood play is out now. I think I
Okay.
got that out of my system.
Okay.
But yeah, one use scalpels.
Okay. You what? Really? Like designs? What did
Yeah.
you do? What did you do? Yeah, tell us the details of the blood play. Let's go there. Let's go there first, because
Okay,
I have
okay, okay.
not done this, but I'm needle curious, right? I like
Mhm.
acupuncture. Haven't had it in a while, but I've never had anyone like do decorative needles, but I've read some needle things that color me curious with the right person.
Yeah. So I didn't actually do needles,
Just scalpels.
just scalpels and X-Acto knives.
Fresh blades, I'm hoping.
Yes, but
Okay.
that was the point of it. So we sterilized the blade tips, anything that would, be pressing into flesh, and X-Acto knives are pretty easy to switch out. So that was always a good option, not super expensive for high school students. And people look at you a little funny if you're buying scalpels. They don't really look at you funny if you're buying X-Acto knives.
I see.
Like, oh, arts and crafts project. Okay, high school kid. And it wasn't a lot of decorative patterns, although there were some, but it was mostly on places that I could hide
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So inner thighs, upper arms, and like sides, so like ribs, but mostly just like straight or wavy lines and nothing too deep because it was more about the pain and the sensation of cutting and being cut more than like actually inflicting injury.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Was it connected to an erotic experience for you, or was it something more in partnership to explore? I heard you say sensory play, but like, did you guys
Yes.
also have, like, was it a turn on, basically, is what I'm asking.
Yeah. So one of my things is vulnerability, and my background is as a sub. So I was the one being cut. I was the one in a vulnerable position, but that wouldn't have been something I would do if I didn't trust my partner or partners.
Yeah.
So aside from like the physical act of being cut and like feeling life energy flowing out of me, another aspect of the eroticism was trusting somebody with something so dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would put
Yeah.
breast play up in that same category, right?
Yes,
I know many people do not conceive of a little bit of choking as something that is so dangerous, and yet it is.
but it
It's right up
is.
there, and yet it is. Yeah. So what kinds of conversations were you having that you felt safe with these partners? It sounds like you did some research, were having some open conversations. Maybe this is why you
Mhm.
use red, yellow, green in all kinds of connections. I don't
Yeah,
know.
probably.
But what were those
Um,
conversations like for you?
so, being a little neurotic, I actually wrote up contracts with them. So, yeah, little high school Jess writing up sex contracts. Um, but it very clearly laid out like this is the limit of each activity. If you exceed this, all future endeavors are terminated, legal action, yada, yada, yada. So sexy.
I love it. I mean, it is though.
But it,
Safety is sexy and clarity is sexy. It creates that clear, hard container for
yes,
where I am gonna play, especially if you're playing with something that's so edgy.
yeah. And then I guess that brings me to an unpleasant aspect. One of my partners, in the heat of the moment, breached my boundaries and forced his cock down my throat, and it was a horrible experience,
Yeah.
but also something that I learned from, and all ties were severed. And I also am very clear with my partners now with what's acceptable and what's not. And if boundaries are trod on or pushed, you get one warning and that's it.
Wow. I'm so sorry that happened. That fucking
Oh,
sucks. Because
yeah.
what a way to ruin the energy of dicks, dicks, dicks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like all it has to be is so good and collaborative. You don't have to fuck
Right.
it up. Damn. Yeah. I too will often give a warning if it seems in good faith. I also have
Mhm.
ended connections when immediately it was clear to me energetically or whatever that it was like,
Mhm.
one lecherous whatever. I've been like, "Yep, and we're done doing that. Get out now. Thank you." Okay,
Yep.
but I also in general, I have filtered people to the point of maybe there was a miscommunication. I'll give them
Right.
one chance and then I'm like, you're done so.
Yeah.
Um, were you able to receive external support in that healing? Like, how did you kind of process that breach?
So I think in some ways I was fortunate because I was able to take control of the situation again, and he ended up in the hospital, not me.
Good for you. Oh, I like just wish there was some karmic thing where like anyone who abuses another human being, like their genitals are instantly just like stapled. Like if there could be like a cosmic
Oh.
creature that immediately is like, like I don't know, like a monster. Like this is like what my brain fantasizes about. Like just the jaws of the spirit from the beyond. Like whatever, just chomp. No, then people wouldn't fuck with each other. In my favorite book, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. If a man so much as touches a woman, they live on the moon, and there's a ratio of 10 to 1 male to female. And so if anyone touches a woman in a way that she did not consent to, all the other dudes just round them up and put them into space immediately. Like that's the kind of
Yes.
consent law that I'm like, that.
Yes.
So I'm not promoting violence. I am, in fact, promoting the opposite. And I love that you took care of yourself in the way that was available to
Yeah.
you.
So, yes, in some ways I was able to, I think I was fortunate and able to reclaim agency, and it took a very long time, like more than a decade, a long time before I talked to a therapist about it and processed it with a professional, but I had processed it with partners before that. So that was good. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you have penetrative partnered sex, and like did you always identify as a sex fiend? I am identifying you as a sex fiend just based on a little that I know of you. I feel like we have this in common. But like when did you like know you were sexy, and when did you start really fucking?
Okay. So I didn't pop my cherry until I was 19.
Me too. Twins.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Twins.
19 and a half. Not for lack of trying.
So I was with a serious partner, and that's how I lost my virginity. It wasn't, to a certain extent, I guess it was planned, but it wasn't like, today we are going to have sex. Yeah, I really want this like right now, so fucking put it in me.
Mm. Were you already serious at the time, or did it become serious after it got put in?
It was getting serious before. So we had been together like maybe a month.
Okay.
He hadn't really ever explored BDSM, but knew he was a dom.
Mm.
And I was like, well, I do actually have some experience in this field. Um, do you want to explore it together? So we had done some spanking and some oral and just like fun touches, cum play. Oh, I love cum play. I really do. And I was and am very attracted to him, and so, so horny that day. I was so horny. And we had been like playing around for probably 6 hours. And I was like, I need to feel you inside me. So he put on a condom, and I was like, this is what I've been missing. Like, this is it. Oh,
Wow.
so good. I know a lot of people have shitty first times, but like, the man knows what he's doing.
Mm. I too had a woohoo time. Like I was like, finally, like I was just so
Yes.
excited. What was good about it for you? What do you remember? Like it sounds like you were warmed up for 6 hours. Like what?
Oh,
That's
yes.
step one. Amazing. I wasn't, but like I mean, I was warmed up all the years and all the years of trying and getting rejected. But like,
Sure.
um,
Oh,
it's okay. But it's okay. It's okay. It's divine timing, and also I now know that some boys are scared of women who want to have sex, and I had to learn by asking 4 times and getting rejected by different people. Um,
fucking ridiculous.
it's so
If you had
silly.
asked me, I would have been like, oh, Luna, yes.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, see, goes to show I had to learn some things about asking the right people. But you asked someone who was a great fit, someone that was arousing you deeply for hours and weeks. So tell us about the wonderful parts. What do you remember?
So I have a fairly tight pussy,
Yes.
I have been told. I'm also like extremely wet. Like there's just like a lot of fluid. So I remember him pushing into me. He has a sizable dick. It's thick and it's long. So I remember feeling the head, even though the condom was there, like compressing things. I could feel like his head, and when it went in on that ridge. Am I getting aroused right now? Absolutely.
Maybe. I'm like,
Um,
oh, it's really tight. Now, okay, well, now I want to be in a threesome. Like, now I just want to, I mean, just for scientific purposes and exploration. Okay,
just to know.
I'm just curious.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes, you
on the
are
bucket
so
list.
beautiful.
Add it to the bucket list.
And so, yes, I remember his head going in and like stretching me. And I don't know if that's like a thing that you enjoy, but
Oh, yeah.
for me, I'm
Oh,
like,
I
oh,
love being stretched, filled. I just love just feeling. Like, it's not just about being
yes.
filled up, and it can be different sizes, different thicknesses, but I love feeling my body react to another body. It's so
Yes.
yummy.
And then he like paused for a moment and then slid in because I was really wet. 6 hours.
Yeah,
I was really wet.
that's a lot of buildup. Yeah, how to get a woman to beg for it? I'm being gender general here, but like how to get a person to beg for it. Spend 6 hours warming them up with lots of
Yep.
teasing and okay, yeah.
Yeah, it'll work, right? Um, and I remember he like hit my back wall and I just came so hard.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so this seems like a good time to talk about your orgasms. Not that they are the end all be all, not that they are the goal, not that they're a priority, but they sure are nice. I mean, for some people, they are the priority. You can tell us if that's you, but it sounds like you can come from internal stimulation when warmed up properly.
Yes, absolutely. I don't have loads of data. Would be nice if I had hundreds of women that I could compare to, but presently not the case.
In
I have
progress.
been in progress. I have been told that I am very orgasmic, so I really like clitoral stimulation. That is often a quick way to get me to come.
Okay.
Internal, so especially G spot, will get quite a response. I tend to squeeze down pretty hard. I'm not trying to, it just happens.
It's tight and wet.
Um, tight and wet. Um, and I can often come from neck kisses. Those get me off really easily.
Orgasmic neck kisses?
Uh,
What is
I'm
it like
very
sucking? Is it
sensitive.
real? Yeah, I'm gleaning this. I didn't know these
Yeah.
things. I'm like, oh, a treasure trove. So how,
Um,
like, sucking, nibbling? What about earlobes? Like, what parts of your neck?
so basically, basically anywhere on my neck, collarbone, my ears are really sensitive.
Okay.
In my intro, you mentioned sapiosexuality,
Yes.
um, and oralism, but it can also be text. If someone is able to stimulate my brain, I can come from reading or hearing.
Like dirty talk?
Yeah.
So you can come from talking or reading. Is it dirty talk in
Yes.
particular, or is it any type of turn on? Like, are there other things? Like, sapiosexuality could be broad, but is it specifically like intelligent, personalized dirty talk? Like, what words have made you come?
I am not sure that I can recall
Makes
the
sense.
specific words, but I have a very, very vivid imagination.
Mm.
And I think that if there is enough explicit detail, my brain kind of fills it in with sensation.
I was gonna say, yeah, it sounds like you're a sensory. Okay, sensation and imagination. Wow, wow, Wow.
Yeah, a little odd.
A wonderful kind of odd. So I take it that you are a multiple orgasmer? Like I oftentimes, if I have one, especially if it's like an intense one, then I'm done.
Really?
Yes. And I feel like I maybe have also run into you when I'm like overstimulated from coming because and so that's why I really like edging because also for me, if I mean, whatever. I've had a day or two in my life where I've had like 10 or 12, but that's like super maximum. Like it's almost uncomfortable. Like because at some point I
Uh-huh.
may have to stop because everything will get
It's too
too
much.
loud, too sensitive, too like can't have music, can't have light. Sometimes the touches, like that's when I need to get flogged to kind of like get reset because the impact
Hmm.
helps me balance out. And so sometimes having the intensity of sensation is what allows me to keep going pleasure wise.
Hmm.
And I also have had like rolling pleasure, but that's also where it's like different types of orgasms do different things to me, and so I can definitely
Hmm.
have like lighter comes or like intense internal, like full body things. So tell us about your version of like how you experience each one. Like, can you just keep going? Like, if someone's like nibbling your neck and touching your clit and then they fuck you inside, like, will you come multiple ways?
Yes.
Cool. Wow. I love that. I'm like, I want
Um,
to watch. In divine timing.
and divine timing. I didn't realize that was abnormal.
Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
Everyone's different.
I don't
That's true.
meet as many people that are like me. I meet a lot of people that can come kind of a lot. And I meet a lot of people that are like satisfied after one or two. And I'm talking about pussy owners here.
Sure, sure.
Everyone's different. But yeah, I mean, then again, I've also interviewed someone on this podcast who can come in the wind. And I'm like, whoa, like it's not her like normal everyday thing, but it's happened. And I'm like, wow, and I've heard what about
That's
your nipples?
incredible.
Are your nipples orgasmic? Do you have that through line?
So I like when someone plays with my nipples, but I've never come from it.
Okay, not yet.
A
Okay.
challenge, maybe?
I mean, perhaps
Um,
it's an exploration, certainly. But do you enjoy nipple worship, receiving it?
yes,
Okay.
I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah, what other
That's
parts
very
of your
fun.
body love to be touched and worshipped and how?
So I like, as we have established a little bit earlier, I was into some like heavier BDSM. I wouldn't say like heavy, but like heavier BDSM. I'm definitely lighter now, but I enjoy spanking. I like impact play. I also love the feel of restraints. Something that I want to explore is shibari. It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a
Um,
yummy type of restraint, too.
really is.
Yeah.
Um, but my skin in general is just extremely, extremely sensitive.
Okay.
A little bit of kiss curse, but light, light touches almost anywhere on my body will give me the shivers. I'm like shivering right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I really adore kissing.
Mm,
Um, like just a full open mouth to mouth intense passionate kiss is mind blowing.
yeah. With
Yeah.
and without fucking. I love both ways, but like
Yeah.
it's so also I do feel like I am just in this new it's like being a teen in my 30s. Like I'm like, "Oh, kissing is so hot." But also the more that I say that, the more other people are like, "Yes, kissing, kissing, kissing." It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah." And I don't know if that's like a post-COVID thing or if it's a sex work related thing, but it's just like it just seems extra special. Do you have sensitive feet? Do your feet enjoy worship or are they tickly or have you explored them enough?
They are tickly. I haven't done a whole lot of foot worship exploration.
Yet?
Something that I'm open to. But yeah, I guess I don't know enough.
Yeah.
Um, I do enjoy when people play with my hair.
Mm.
It feels really good. sometimes the like rough tugs, but also like if we're cuddling, just like getting my scalp massaged a
Mm.
little bit, or just like playing, just like little playing with my hair. Like it's just very nice and will probably get me into another round.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so yummy. When in your intimate journey did you begin to identify as consensually non-monogamous or ethically non-monogamous? They are interchangeable as I understand it.
I want to say in high school when I was seeing those three guys, like one of them had a girlfriend and she was into it. Sometimes we would play a little bit, but mostly it was with those three, but everything was very like open and playful and fun until it wasn't. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, my journey is not really linear. I also found that I was into exhibitionism at that time, so some of the most fun that I had was one of the guys had this like, I don't know, I don't even know why he had it. He had this like really large round bed.
I want one.
And we would pull it away from the wall and put chairs around it. And there were friends and friends of friends who would come over and watch me get myself off.
Oh my God. Okay. You don't even know all the fantasies that I've had about circle related things. As you can see, I love flat representations of the moon. But wow, wait, what? So you would
Yeah.
just get yourself off with watchers? How
Yeah.
many?
Um, I want to say if it was like a full audience,
Wow.
um, like 12. Sometimes it was single guys, and then other times it would be like girls and their boyfriends. And I would usually do some like manual masturbation, and I would use a variety of toys. And then occasionally I would have one of my partners play with me. Yeah.
That's
It was
so
really hot.
fun.
It was so much fun.
Was that something that you were like an instant yes to, or did you have to think about it? Like, what? Because I'm trying to imagine a younger me, and I don't know, like, I was open, but what drew you toward this experience? Like, do you remember your thought and or feeling process?
Well, I want to say that the first time I did anything kind of like that, it was my three guys wanted to just sit and watch. One of them, who's a weird data nerd like me, and I think like you a little bit, um, wanted to count how many times I came. So he set a timer for half an hour, and I think it was something like 24 times.
Whoa. I would be dead. Like, not even the fun kind. But that is amazing. I'm like, I'd be a watcher. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Was it hands? Was it
Um,
toys? Was it a mixture? What do you remember?
it was hands, and I think it was a black Lalo.
Okay.
I don't remember like what exactly it was. Some kind of penetrative toy. And I just went at it.
Wow. More than once, it sounds like you, like it
Oh
was a
yeah.
repeat. Like, wow.
So that was the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that was fun." And like I liked this is a little bit of a power dynamic thing, I think. I enjoyed how much they liked it,
Yeah.
if that makes
Oh, that
sense.
makes
Yeah.
total sense. I am always happy to be watched or not watched. Like, if the context is correct, I'm not shy about, like, you are watching. I will only get off on it if there is a specific person who wants to watch me be watched. Like it is
Yes.
that it is in fact that dynamic. I'm like, yes, just tell me to go do whatever you want me to do, and it'll take it to the next level for me. It's already
Yeah.
hot to me if it's just like, oh yes, this is a place of permission. I can be free. I can do what I want. You know, if people want to watch, I love to serve them that way. But if it's like, if someone whispers naughty things into my ear and then I have to go out on stage and do a thing, which has not happened except in my fantasies, you know, I'm like, you know,
Yes.
that it, like you said, it's that connection, it's the exchange, it's the
Mhm.
relationship that is connected that takes the erotic to the next level for me. And that's why casual sex, like pure straight up casual, like, I mean casual, like Tinder fucking, where people are basically like sex dolls to each other and they don't really talk and they kind of don't even, whatever. So uninteresting to me. And I'm hearing that
Mhm.
increasingly from other people, so I don't think I'm really unique here. Or with the rise in the number of people that are describing themselves to me as demisexual, I'm like, yes, I too am a human that enjoys connection. I feel you, you
Yes.
know? Like, yes, it is hotter when it's personalized. I agree, you know? Like, yes, I do want to get to know someone, you know, even if I don't have to know them for years, I can know them for 10,
Right.
20, 30 minutes, but I need to feel connection in our exchange so that I can
Yes.
have a next level experience, not just an orgasm, because I could
Right.
just, yeah, do that.
I can do that on
Damn,
my own.
I can do that on my own. Yeah, yeah. Wow. When did you, it sounds like also pretty young, you were identifying as not straight. Like, when did you identify your pansexuality?
So I think I would have identified myself as like queer curious in high school, but also not like labeled anything. In
Yeah,
fact, I didn't label
just
anything.
vaguely
Um,
curious.
yes. Oh, yes, that. Um, like people of all genders are sexy, but not like actively pursuing anything. Because dicks. Um, but I identified as pan in 2018. It was just like a when I just like sat and reflected for a little while, I realized I am not straight. I am not straight even a little bit.
Boobies are too
I am,
beautiful. I want to have them in my
yes,
mouth. I want to lick the
and
pussies.
pussies.
Yeah,
Like, and there's something just so sensual about curves.
yeah,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like you and I definitely could talk for hours, and you may just have
Yes.
to come back to talk for more. Do you want to tell us what inspired you to make the leap to professional, to go to my favorite place in the world and work at the magical oasis that is Sherry's Ranch?
It really is. It's magical. So I realized I just needed a change. I needed something different. I've always been very interested in some kind of service. For a while, I thought nonprofit, then I thought teaching, and then I found out about cherries, and I was like, oh, I could have sex and other people could enjoy that. And it seemed and is the perfect fit. Like
I want to make tight pussy jokes here.
yes.
On a serious note, I will say, sadly, in some of the research that I have been reading lately, burnout rates for both teaching and nonprofit work is high. Like, those are
Yeah.
two fields in which people are deeply under resourced. And so it's like, I too want to serve. And also, it's like, we gotta be well and we gotta help ourselves and help, you know, help other people. I think that's, I will say, I think you are doing the Lord's work. I'm kind of joking, but not really, actually. I think for me, sex
No.
is transcendent. It's a transcendent experience. Okay, so how wonderful to discover that you like it. What have been some of your favorite things so far? Like, so if someone has never been to the ranch before, doesn't know that legal brothels exist, these safe oases spaces where people can come and have clear discussions about exactly what they want. Maybe they're looking for a goddess of Chinese American descent with beautiful, beautiful breastises. I don't know. What kinds of activities, spaces, places, types of play have you enjoyed there, or do you hope to enjoy? We can get into bucket list things, but start with your favorites that you've experienced.
Okay, favorites. I love, here we are again, connecting with people.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And Sherry's lets me do that in a way that other spaces don't.
Yeah.
And it brings people who are looking for that kind of authentic human interaction, whether it's a 5 minute conversation and physical intimacy or more, like a lot more. It's really, really fulfilling. Um, I've also discovered that one of my kinks, like maybe my biggest turn on, is seeing another person in pleasure. That has made me come more times than I can count.
Oh
And
my
I'm
God,
like
that's
now
so hot.
aware of that.
That's so hot. You're like, it's not just words after all. Sometimes all I got to do is look at them and see how happy they are. Whoa, that's so cool.
And then one of the really like fulfilling, exciting, pleasurable experiences that I had at Sherry's, a client came in and this man had recently lost his wife and was trying to reconnect with himself and his honestly his libido and just like feeling confident. And we spent a little time chatting and getting to know each other. And there was some really good chemistry there. And he was worried that like I wouldn't have fun so far from what happened.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but we had a wonderful time physically, and then afterwards we just kind of cuddled and talked for I don't know, almost an hour, just
that's
sharing. Yeah,
quality time.
quality time. And it was so good. And
Yeah,
I came away from the experience like having learned about him and learned from his experiences. And I think he came away like happier and more secure in who he was and being ready to like move forward with the next stages of his life.
yeah. That is so beautiful. You know, it's so interesting over the years of all the brothel research that I've done, when I talk to lay people about it, or shall I say, not getting laid people who have never been to a brothel, like who don't necessarily understand. They're like, oh, well, I don't want anything transactional. It usually sounds like that. And I go, well, you can pick someone you have a connection with, in the same way that you can hire me as a photographer if you want someone who will really connect with you and get to know your personal story on a number of levels. Or you can go to a photo mill and they can go click, 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 done. Like both kinds are available. Both include transactions if you want to be like real straightforward about that word. And you know what else are transactions? Marriages, all
Hmm.
dating, literally any kind of relationship, because hopefully they all include an exchange. And if they don't, it's really
Right.
lopsided and not good karma. Let me just say that, and so, so it's so funny because I know that the more that I learn about the actual opportunity that there are in brothels for people to connect to themselves, to a partner, to learn, to have a safe space to heal trauma. I'm like, what an underutilized educational resource. And obviously, they would all be better if they were in the hands of edurotic geniuses. But, hashtag future goals.
Amen.
But, in the meantime, it's like they are beautiful spaces for connection. It's like, well, if you don't want a transactional experience, then make sure that you bring your A game when it comes to connection, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's like you are such a connectable person. And like you said, it's hot to be valued. It's hot to have someone who really wants to
Yes.
choose you. And there are different ways of showing that, right? There are explicit and implicit ways. In dating, we show it by doing lots of time, energy, slow investment of getting to know each other. It's just a different structure. But it's like
Mhm.
any human who knows themselves hopefully knows if they're feeling connected or not. And it sounds like you have a very yummy orgasmic flavor. Oh, yes. Okay, speaking of flavor. Okay, well, we didn't talk about butt stuff. Well, okay. We will have to come back. Maybe that'll be details for a future episode because you and I think share some butt sluttery in our proclivities.
Yes.
So we can talk about tight pussies and tight assholes on a future update. Okay, but for now, I would love to hear what are your hopes, goals, and dreams for the future? Like, what's on your bucket list? Sexy, definitely, but doesn't have to be sexy. All of it.
Okay. So, sexy overnight with Luna. I I am hoping for some more couples. I got really lucky last tour and
Mm,
had a great time with a few couples. Um, so great. Um, maybe some single ladies want to come by, or single ladies and their friends.
yeah.
And wish list, I guess, would be more of what I've been lucky enough to have already experienced at Sherry's, which is wonderful people that want to spend time with me
Oh,
and appreciate me. Non work things, I guess. I am planning a move to New Zealand. It's a long-term plan, but I already have been looking at like how to do the commute
mm,
from New Zealand to
I
Sherry's.
love that. I fucking love that.
Buying a house, and finally getting a dog. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I love doggies. Okay,
Yeah. So
and
good.
if maybe this is New Zealand, I don't know, maybe I'll come visit. You suddenly had
Yes, yes, yes,
an
yes.
unlimited budget to build your own personal pleasure palace, or whatever structure you please. What elements would it have, and who would be invited?
All right. So it would have multiple bedrooms, of course. Um, Definitely one of those circle beds. With comfy single-seater chairs and also like love seats. I'm thinking a dungeon with some bells and whistles, maybe ceiling suspension. Definitely invite an instructor for some shibari, a really lovely hot tub for
Yes.
relaxation and not relaxing activities.
LOL, not relaxing after you've done shibari.
I also think I would want not all of the bedrooms to have this, but like a couple of them to have one-way mirrors for like a little bit of voyeurism, a little bit of exhibitionism, lots of toys. So, have you used Honey Playbox before?
No? What is it?
Okay. So, it's a toy company,
Hmm.
and this is not sponsored, by the way. My favorite toy is Terry, Terri, from Honey Playbox.
Okay.
And it's like a rabbit, but so there's like the clit stimulator, right? And then there's the insertable part, which is like two long sections, but in the middle of it is this extra phalange, and it does this, I know, phalange, innovative motion. It's a tapping motion.
Okay. Specifically,
It's so
extra
good.
phalange is very funny to me, especially in the middle of a sex toy and like blah, blah, blah.
There are so many
Cool.
moving parts,
Yeah.
but it is fantastic.
Okay.
It's also app based, so you can like push the buttons on it if that's comfortable for you or your partner or partners, or you or partner or partners can control it remotely on your smartphone.
Okay. I fucking love that.
And I just, so good.
That's so
So
good.
good.
I also will just say I'm a photographer. I could take pictures of you in Shibari and I could hang out in your hot tub in the meantime. I'm just saying I'll invite myself.
Fuck yes, fuck yes. Oh, who is invited? All of the ladies from Sherry's.
Okay.
Because, of course,
Yeah.
we have a good time. We like to party. Some of my partners, both from Sherry's and not, and maybe a few like celebrity crushes.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Please come
Yeah.
to the grand opening of my pleasure palace. Thank you, celebrity crushes. Guest of honor. I will honor you.
I will honor you.
The invite from a top tier courtesan right here. Okay. I love that.
And then I guess friends of friends.
Yes. Yes.
There would be a whole stack of NDAs and contracts
Fuck yeah.
because and also like the quick send away kits for testing because safety
Yeah. Yeah.
and all the condoms.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. Condoms, Laurel's lube, all the barriers. And I could give a health and safety talk at the beginning and set the tone for norms that we establish if you want. Just saying.
Please and thank you.
Okay. So, light noodle question here at the end to wrap up. How do you think that we can co-create a sexier, more loving, and more connected world together?
I think it starts with listening and observing and being open, not just to sexual experiences, but yes, that, please, but being willing to like hear each other out and talk things through. Communicate, communicate, communicate. That's where I stand. And maybe more kissing.
Oh, yeah. I'm learning to communicate with not just words. You know, it's such a delicate, nuanced, personal thing, but the whole point of communication is it's give and take. It's not just, it's listening. My coach and friend Jerry is working with me to listen with my heart, my whole body, not just my mind, not just the literal words. Obviously, words that people say are also important, but they're one part of a puzzle. What is the being saying? And I do think that you're onto something with the kissing. My sensitive immune system is always like health and safety though. And I'm like, okay, well,
Right.
obviously we need to co-create a world where we kiss each other more so that we can all share germs and then just be on the level,
Exactly. Exactly.
At least in our little bubbles. Okay, so very lastly, how do you love to spread ripples of love?
I touched on this a little bit with Sherry's and how I came to be there, but a lot of it is helping people where and how I can. And sometimes that is being a friend who can babysit your kids. Sometimes it's volunteering at the local animal shelter. Sometimes it's helping to discover or share a discovery of an intimate moment or a long-lasting connection. That's my let's share a bit of Jess love.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Lovers, you can find Jess on the internet at Jessica G. The link is in the description below. Jess, thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast and helping spread ripples of love.
Thank you so much for having me, Luna.
Lovely woo humans, that is our show. Remember to follow your hearts and follow your parts and follow me in family-friendly internet places at Lunar Woohoo, or if you're in naughty internet places, at Lunar Secrets. Visit howtowoo.fyi for links to everything. You can support our awesome show on Patreon for early ad-free episodes. You can worship me virtually on OnlyFans or Sextpanther, or we can work together in person in a number of excellent creative capacities. You can also ask a question, share a story, or apply to be a guest at howtowoo.fyi if you want to be on the show. And tell a friend to help us grow. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and let me know how you're spreading ripples of love.